Do you struggle to go into round one of tournaments or get nervous going into each game? Well, today we're going to be talking about developing routines and how this can help you perform more consistently. Welcome back to TCG Psychology, the channel where we turn psychological insights into competitive advantages. Now, today we're going to be talking about routines. Now, routines are purposeful behaviors that we put in place in order for us to prepare effectively when we sit down at that TCG table. They are actions that we can do consistently regardless of what environment we might be competing in, whether it's at our home store or whether we've traveled to a center for a larger tournament. And they're easy enough for us to remember that it doesn't take a lot of cognitive processing or brain function for us to put that into place, but rather we just are able to implement it into the way that we set up for games so that we're able to just implement it naturally without putting too much focus on what we're doing. Now, the reason we should implement routines into our TCG performances are because they're an easy and simple yet effective way of optimizing our mental readiness, which allows us to block out distractions that might be going on around us. You know, when we go through a routine, we're locking ourselves in for that round, and also enable us to perform under pressure. By implementing a recognizable action each time, we're able to feel more secure in the way that we're preparing for that round. Routines also help us manage anxiety. Now, our anxiety level might change throughout the course of a day. You know, going into round one, round two, we might see a peak in anxiety in those initial stages of the tournament as we sort of try to settle into that environment. It may dip a little bit as we go throughout the course of the day, but then as you're starting to compete for day two, potentially at the end of the day, again, extra pressure is put on us. So what routines enable us to do is to go through those recognizable actions to provide that familiarity as we go into each round and sort of ground us in terms of focusing in on that round rather than the bigger picture. And that enables us to reduce those stress levels going into each game. I find it particularly effective in situations where maybe you've gone, you've lost the first game in a best of three, and now you need to focus in and lock in for the next two as well. You know, having that consistency in the routine just enables you to take that pressure off and take a little bit of that stress off of not having won that first game in the best of three. It also helps boost our confidence going into each round. Again, providing that familiar environment enables us to feel settled in that situation and boosts our confidence as we see what our opening hand is to make the right decisions based on what we see, because we go through that familiar process of, okay, maybe I didn't get that first hand that I wanted. Now I've got less stress on me to sort of think through what decisions I need to make in terms of mulligans, etc. So having that consistency boosts our confidence heading into each round. So building a routine can be fairly simple based on what techniques you go through. So I would recommend following the ABC of building a routine. So first of all, A stands for action. So this is some kind of physical cue for you to take in order to kick off that routine. I will show you an example after I've talked through the ABC routine, but one example might be to pick up the cards from your deck in a certain way before then looking at your hand to make that decision. B very simply stands for breathe. So this is just to slow yourself down. Again, we've talked about breathing quite a lot on the channel, but you can use something like box breathing, which can be very easy to remember in those situations. So that's where you take a deep inhale for 4 seconds, you hold it for 4 seconds, and then you exhale for 4 seconds. And again, that just helps you focus on your breathing to slow yourself down physiologically and psychologically at the same time. And then C stands for cue. So this is just a short, quick phrase that you can use to give yourself a self-talk prep. So it could just be something as simple as ready. It could be something simple as first turn. Something quick to just cue you in on what you need to do for that round or that game. So ABC, action, breathe, cue, and that's a very quick routine that you can implement. So I'll go ahead and show you what my one looks like now. So as promised, here is my video demonstrating my routine at the start of a game. So obviously in Star Wars, we draw 6 cards. My physical action is the way that I draw my cards. So I'll take 3 from the deck and put them on the top, and 3 from the deck and put them on the bottom row like that. Again, this doesn't take a lot of brain power to remember to do it this way, and it's a very simple way of triggering the start of my routine. Now, as I'm looking at my hand and deciding whether I want to keep it or not, this is my opportunity to do the B in the routine, the breathing technique. As I'm deciding, I'm focusing on my breathing. Again, in the video, we've mentioned box breathing, so 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds exhale. Do whatever feels most comfortable for you, but the important thing is to have that focus on slowing yourself down physiologically, which enables you to think a little bit clearer when it comes to making this important decision. If I decide to mulligan, again, I'll go through the same process, shuffle my hand into my deck, and then do the 3 row on top and the 3 row on bottom. And then once I'm happy to keep my hand, that's where I trigger the cue, so the vocal cue. I've just implemented it into, fist bumping my opponent and saying good luck. That symbolizes that good luck, symbolizes for me to now lock in for the round and focus on turn 1. That's how I go through my process of the routine. So you've got the A, action in terms of the way that I draw my cards, the B, the breathing, intentionally focusing on my breathing as I'm deciding whether to keep my hand, and then the C, the cue, the good luck, indicating to me to start focusing on the first action phase in the round. If you found that video useful, do feel free to share it with anybody that you know. If you have any tips and tricks on what you do to prepare yourself each round, make sure to share that in the comment section below. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel so that you're notified when future videos are released. And until the next time, win the mind game meta.